Geek with the Tractor, back out in full garden swing here. Let's talk about mistakes. As you guys know, I really like this configuration. I've talked about it in the past. But the mistakes, I wouldn't call them necessarily mistakes, but I decided to use the untreated wood because it doesn't have the chemicals in it. This just came straight from a sawmill, cut in 4x6s, not very straight ones. Not very straight ones for sure. However, as you can tell, they do not last very long. Now I need to become a better expert at identifying wood species, and the company I got this from, the logger I got this from, I didn't really get, okay, well, this is this type of wood, this type of wood. I know that the first year that I did, they did say, oh, this is all hardwood. And I was like, okay, good. This time, these few beds here, I was just kind of like, okay, we need to get them built. What do you got? You know? So that's what I did. And as you can tell now, these here were built, I think 2 years ago. And really the big problem with this one is I had a little tractor mishap here in the corner, and you know, it went over the winter and it just kind of continued to get worse. The structure of this top one is not too bad, but you can see the middle one there is pretty bad. Now this is the one that I did, I mean, the year that we moved here, probably about 5 years ago now. It was the spring of, let's see, it's 2021. It would have been spring of 2016. And as you could tell, compared to the other ones, which are quite a bit, I mean, we need some repairs here for sure, but you can see it is still kind of getting some rot here, but it's in far better condition than the other ones here. So let's see here. This one isn't too bad. So here are my strawberries, and then over here, 2 years ago we had tomatoes. Last year we had beans, and then I had tomatoes over there, and that. They seemed to be far enough away. I didn't have too many problems. Although 2 years ago, the tomatoes did have some mold problems, which I did not have when they were over on the other side of the pergola. Here's another mistake. All right, see these little guys right in here? Little bitty tiny guys. Okay, so these are ever-bearing strawberries. And let's see here. These are June-bearing strawberries. Notice the size difference? So I planted this side over here with June-bearing. I wanted to test to see how they would do compared to the ever-bearing. I mean, the concept of ever-bearing strawberries really sounds great because you just to keep on picking, right? As long as you keep them watered, keep them healthy, keep on picking. Well, the problem is they do keep coming on, but a few here, a few there, and it's almost not worth it because I come down here and, you know, I get maybe a tiny little bowl like in July, you know, and then if for whatever reason, if I don't water them as good or something like that, then they virtually give me nothing. So I think strawberries in this type of raised bed is not a very good use of this space. So that being said, I'm going to do my last little gleaning of strawberries in here, and I'm going to come through and just kind of pull all of these out and retool this bed for something else. All right, let's come back to the raised beds here for a moment. I am using these untreated timbers. The next raised beds that I build will be using treated, not timbers. I'm going to probably use 2x6s and 2x8s. Anyways, I'm trying to figure out the proper design. I think it'd be 2x6s because I can still go up high. I have a new design that I'm going to use. It's going to be the same shape, footprint, but it's going to be a little bit different approach to how I actually put the bed together. You will see that in a future episode. But right now we're getting pretty deep into May right now, and I just need to get some more things in and moving forward here with the planting season. So that's the last bit. So am I backpedaling on the principle of not using treated wood? Well, actually I did a little more research and found out that the treated wood now, compared to 15, 20 years ago, does not have some of the chemicals that were problematic for the leaching into the ground and that kind of stuff, getting into the food. One thing I will probably do is probably use a liner on the inside just to keep the wood from touching the soil inside of the beds. I think that will be just, may not even have to do that, but just an extra precaution. But having treated lumber can last 8, 9, 10 years or even longer, I've heard in some cases, compared to, as you've seen, maybe 2 or 3 years. If you get the right hardwood, maybe 5 years, but you see even the 5-year lumber here is starting to fall apart. So I think I don't want to rebuild them every 3 or 4 years. 10 years I'm fine with, okay? That's a lot of food, that's a lot of production. I don't mind coming through and reworking them. But I think the treated wood's going to be a far better approach. And with the liner and it not touching and planting the plants kind of inside, giving it some space, I think we're going to be just fine. I know many people have done it and they seem to be okay. You know, the fact that they're not using arsenic and some of the chemicals that they were using that was really known to be bad for your health is good. I mean, if you're using certain types of oils and things like that in the wood that just really isn't harmful to humans, then by all means, use the treated lumber. And that's what we're going to do. There's a marking on it. And whenever we do the build, the raised bed build, I'll talk more about it. Put some of the research that I did into that video or into the description of the video. But for now, we need to get this bed cleaned up. We need to get it restructured and repaired and get some plants in there. So here we go. This is my reworked strawberry bed. The sad thing is I have the wood looks a lot worse than I was expecting. I mean, I knew it was bad, but I mean, we got this piece down here. It's just completely rotted here. See that? I was really hoping to just do a quick, some minor repair to this bed. I just don't think it's going to hold up. I mean, I could try to situate them on there, but it's just, I mean, some of this one side and that side, there's a few pieces. I must have got some really good wood in there, hard wood in there that are still pretty solid, but the majority of it's just kind of bleh. Being rotted from the inside out. I may just have to do some calculations and see if I can go ahead and just get the material that I need to just repair this bed. Just completely replace it with the new style that I was talking about the other day. Well, let me go count the cost. I made a decision earlier this morning, did a little research, and decided to come to Home Depot, get some wood. Wood is so expensive.